name Benny is a Dane, and I first went to Denmark in the 60s during the sexual revolution. Benny was producing a film about the Danish porno industry, so we had to go to a live sex show as research. We go to this little club in a seedy part of town. We sit there with a busload of Japanese businessmen, and we all watch this young couple doing 20 minutes of gymnastic fornication. They do it standing, they do it sitting, they're rolling on the floor, they're hanging upside down. I have never felt so hopelessly untalented. After the show, we go backstage, but they can't stay and talk. They have to be at work early in the morning because they are kindergarten teachers. They're only doing the sex clubs to earn money for a washer and dryer. The Danes are very free and easy about sex, nudity, all that stuff. Women are topless at the beach. Little children run around naked in the playground. Americans are a little more puritanical. In my home, our child does not see us undressed. We do not take baths together, and we never let him sleep in our bed. Now, our child is over 40 years old, but still. Anyway, the Danes are not always so free and easy. They have a psychotic respect for authority, and they always obey the rules. And I'm from New York, where when it comes to the rules, we don't give a shit. If a light is red, a Dane will not cross the street. Now, Denmark is a flat country. You can see all the way to Germany that there are no cars coming. But they will stand in the freezing rain until the light changes. Denmark has a very progressive social system: free health, old age and child care, free education. Everybody gets a 6-week paid vacation. So Danes tend to be happy and contented. And like happy and contented people everywhere, they tend to be dull. One night, we're visiting some friends of Benny's parents. The conversation is boring beyond belief, and I'm desperate to find something to talk about besides the price of herring. So, I compliment the couple on their excellent English, and I ask if they studied it in school. They hesitate. No, actually, we learned English during the war. Really? But Denmark was occupied by the Nazis. It seems like a strange time to learn English. I sense the subject is making them uncomfortable, so of course, I pursue it. How come you learned English during the war? Well, we had someone living here who spoke English. Well, I don't understand. Yeah, it's not something we like to make a fuss about. There was an RAF pilot who had been shut down, and we hid him in our basement for 2 years. Would you like some more liver? Wow. I thought they were just a boring old couple. Well, they were a boring old couple who also happened to be incredibly heroic. And this brought me back to an ongoing family conflict about bravery. Benny is a Danish Jew, and when he was 5 years old, he was hidden from the Nazis by a Christian family, the Nielsens. I can never get him to talk about any of this. Honey, do you have any contact with that family, the Nielsens, the ones who saved you during the war? Unfortunately, we have lost touch with them. Benny, this isn't right. Excuse me, I have work to do. Benny, these people saved your life. You have got to find them. I am aware of that. Please do not be a nag. The N-word. The nagging Jewish wife. Guilty as charged. But you have to understand something. I sincerely believe that the world would be a better place if everyone would just do what I tell them. And for some reason, my husband doesn't see it that way. Every few years, I remind him about the Nielsen's, but he refuses to take action. Then I come home one day, and there's a strange message on my answering machine. Remember answering machines? Hi, folks. It's Marty and Millie. It's been too many years. Millie sends her love. We're still up here in Fairbanks. Millie is dying to hear from Teddy. Area code 907, blah, 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 blah. Who are these people? I play it back a couple of times. Did I ever know a Morty and Millie who moved to Alaska? Do I live with a guy named Teddy? It's a wrong number. I'll call him tomorrow. I'll clear things up. But I have a busy week, and I just don't feel like calling Alaska. And I have been worrying about those people ever since. When I can't sleep, I think about Morty and Millie. Maybe they're Teddy's parents. And they had a falling out years ago because Teddy left law school to join the Coast Guard. And now they finally called to make peace because Millie is terminal. And when they don't hear from their only son, they both go to their graves with broken hearts. Why? Because I was too lazy to call Alaska. Then someone I know gets nominated for an Emmy. I call, I leave a nice message on her machine, and the same day my phone rings. Annie Korzen, please. Speaking. Annie, you left a message for me, but my name isn't Gail. You must have dialed the wrong number. Oh my God, you sound just like her. It was so nice of you to call and let me know. No worries. I just did what anyone would do. Right. Benny, you have got to find that Danish family. The Nielsen's the ones who rescued you during the war. I have told you, I am working on it. But honey, I don't want you to make the same mistake I made with Morty and Millie and Teddy. I may have ruined those people's lives. You have got to find those Danes. I am working on it. Please do not be a nag. Honey, I am a nag. I admit it. But maybe one day you'll thank me for it because I'm doing this for you. Please, sweetheart, find the Nielsen's. Poor Benny. He simply cannot deal with painful emotional issues. And it's not because he's an unfeeling person, not at all. It's because he's a person with a penis. Well, finally, after many false leads and wrong numbers, there are a lot of Nielsen's in Denmark, Benny manages to locate the family who saved him. Mr. Nielsen is dead, but Mrs. Nielsen is an elderly widow living in a little country cottage. By now, Benny himself is very excited, and he writes her this letter. Dear Mrs. Nielsen, in October of 1943, my parents ran from the Nazis and left me in your care. I was told to tell people that my name was Nielsen and that I was your nephew from Copenhagen. Oddly enough, I remember my stay in your home as a happy and exciting time. I was a city child, and your big old-fashioned garden was a magical place for me. Your two little girls showed me how to dig new potatoes out of the ground, and we played hide-and-go-seek for hours at a time. Every day, I went to the baker to buy myself a treat. One day, I took the baker aside and whispered, I'll tell you a big secret. My real name isn't Nielsen, it's Korzen, but nobody's supposed to know. Instead of reporting us to the local German commandant, the baker came and warned you that your nephew was talking too much. I was finally transported by the underground over to my family in Sweden. I now live in America with my wife and son. As a matter of fact, it was my wife who suggested that I contact you. Dear Mrs. Nielsen, I have often thought of the great courage you and your husband showed in protecting me. Please forgive me that it has taken so many years for me to say thank you, but I do say it, and I do mean it from the bottom of my heart. With deepest gratitude, Bernhard Korzen. I am so proud of my husband. He sends the letter off, wondering if we'll even get an answer. And the day before Thanksgiving, a letter arrives from Denmark. It's on scented stationery, written in a very shaky hand. And when our family and friends sit down for the holiday feast, Benny reads it to everyone. My dear Bernhard Korzen, you have certainly brought a lot of excitement into the quiet life of a very old lady. I read your letter to Annalisa and Katja, who are of course married and have moved away, and they too were thrilled to hear from you. How splendid that you live in Los Angeles. I have a nephew in Pasadena, Henning Morrison. Perhaps you know him. By the way, my grandson wants to know if it is true that all the children in America play with real guns. You were a very sweet little boy, and we all enjoyed having you in our home. As for having great courage, that is perhaps an exaggeration. Yes, at first my husband was a bit concerned over the danger of having you with us, but I easily convinced him we were doing the right thing. You see, we are a devout Christian family. How could anyone who loves God not protect and comfort an innocent little child? With very fond regards, Anna Nielsen. Then Benny raises his glass and says, "Let us give thanks to the Anna Nielsens of the world." And then my darling husband points his glass to me and says, okay. And also to all the women who nag the men they love into doing the right thing. I'll drink to that. Skål.